Living with Jonathan and Katy.
Welcome to
Living with Jonathan and
Katrin.
Katrin. I have a special announcement I've been saving for the podcast all week.
What happened?
You know that I wanted to adopt a cat. And so...
Shut the fuck up!
This is my new friend.
Oh my god, that is... You are crazy! Is that a cat skeleton?
It's a T-Rex.
A real baby T-Rex?
A baby T-Rex. No, I have a friend who shall remain nameless, but he doesn't believe in dinosaurs. And it's been a problem. It's been a thing. And so anytime I see anything about dinosaurs online, like I always tag him. It's like kind of an ongoing joke.
Have you told him that you don't believe in aliens?
Aliens is dinosaurs.
To me it is.
No, but so it's been an ongoing thing for years and years. And then out of the blue, I got a package from China. And I was like, what the fuck? I did not order this. Like, what the hell? And I opened it up and it was a dinosaur skeleton building kit from him.
Okay, but it's not a real dinosaur, right? Or what is it?
You tell me.
Katie, is it real? I thought that was just a large cat. Also, you should name that that cat skeleton Cat Skellington.
Oh my god.
Isn't that good?
It's my little, yeah. Don't you see it's a T-Rex?
Yes, I do. But it could also be like a big fat cat.
His little creepy tail. No, so it was a full like paleontologist put together kit from China, and so I assembled him, and now he does my bidding.
He's your familiar in the noche.
I do find myself just petting its tail.
It is beautiful. I mean, that is probably, what if that's like a replica of like a real baby T-Rex skeleton?
No, it really isn't. It explained all like the femurs and the jawbone and the like little, it kind of looks like he's hung, huh? That's his pelvis bone or somehow.
Oh yeah, like that's his dick bone. Now, you know what's weird is monkeys have dick bones, and humans apparently are the only apes that don't have bones in their dicks.
That's weird. Why do you know that?
Because I'm into ape dick. We haven't mentioned for the listeners and the viewers why I look so gorgeous right now.
Yeah, why do you? We've noticed you're glowing.
Yeah, because you know how Zoom makes us all look like wretched witches? We're always like, I hate watching the episodes back because like I always look at myself and I'm always like like I'm just like, and there's like weird shadows. No, I bought a ring light. So this is how I look, everyone, in real life.
Guys, this is my real gorgeous face. I'm finally coming out.
Yeah. You can
I'm actually hot.
I'm hot. I'm coming out as hot.
That is very exciting though. That's something everybody needs, I feel like.
It's a game changer, and you could change the different types of warmth on the light.
The warmth?
Yeah.
Is it a mini? Is it a big? Is it a satellite?
It's big. It's bigger than my head.
Oh, wow.
It's behind the computer. Because I'm in kind of a dark room right now.
I can't believe seeing like, you know, all the celebs on Zoom now, like those who don't have a ring light, or some who have it so much that I'm like, girl, we get it.
Oh yeah, like the ring light that's like, they're like so close to the camera and you can like see it in their eyes.
Literally, I could see it in Gaga's pupils and it was like a huge like thing.
Okay, well today is our very special episode. Wait, is this episode the
Yeah, today's episode? A lot of special announcements for the Living with Jonathan and Katy coven. We have an exciting announcement for the family. Jonathan, do you want to explain?
We have been for years now trying to launch our own fragrance line. And
it's finally happening.
It's finally happening. And this is how I talk now that I have a fragrance line. We finally have it. It came back from the lab. And we are very excited to unleash onto the world what we have created.
We shot the campaigns over the last 7 years. And for that reason, we thought we would just like introduce the whole line. We want to introduce the ad campaigns, the line, tell you about each fragrance, how we came up with the name, what we were thinking.
The first one we have is this one, is Muse.
Yes. Muse. enrobe yourself with the Jonathan Rowell collection. Now there's a typo here because it should be the Jonathan CERDA-ROWELL collection.
And I am livid, Katie, but you know what? Here's the thing.
You ordered it from China. This is what happens.
Well, yeah, see, we already made the fragrances with my old stage name, right? And so in this new landscape of COVID, we just didn't have the money to then redo the packaging. So we had to keep it.
It didn't feel eco-friendly to redo it.
Yeah.
So these are all released under your Shell Corporation name, which is the Jonathan Rowell collection.
Yeah.
The name, I actually designed this fragrance, Muse, in honor of my muse, which is actually the robe that you're wearing, not you.
Oh, I thought it was the cat skeleton that you keep in your closet.
Oh yes, of course.
You are my muse.
Muse it's for, I'd say, the everyday secretary, librarian, the one who like looks tame but then actually secretly works in a dungeon at night.
I love my handwork on the cover. I just have good handwork. And
actually, if you'll remember, it actually took us 2 days to get this shot. We've had a lot of different shots.
We went to Bora Bora for it. It was
Bora Bora, but there was a hurricane, so we actually had to shoot it in the hotel room. Unfortunately, we only had robes because all of your gowns had been misplaced in a terrible plane wreck beforehand.
Oh, I thought it was because I was just too fat to fit into anything.
Well, you did have a meltdown on set. I had to tell you, to calm down. I would say Muse smells like notes of Gatorade and Neutrogena.
How dare you? That's terrible.
What would you describe it as?
I thought it was like fermented cucumber and when chocolate rots and gets that like weird putrefied.
It's blooming actually, and it's the fats coming to the surface, which makes sense. Okay,
now we have another fragrance.
Escort. So this is actually for preschool teachers.
This is for preschool teachers and prostitutes.
And sex workers, whatever they want to identify as.
We support all sex workers, and we can't become an escort because
it's not safe right now.
No, I was gonna try to think of something else, but I actually don't have a reason why I'm not an escort. So I think that's really brought something to my attention that I think I need to examine about why I'm not escorting.
We need to unpack that more.
Right.
I can't believe I wasn't. I mean, obviously for this ad campaign I was.
With those bangs and that like beachy, like that, it does say escort, like Orange County escort.
Escorts always have bangs. That's actually how you can tell them. And it's a large statement necklace, which I think I actually turned around. I think there's a jewel on the other side. I can't remember.
That's actually a good line for like a sitcom, being like, I'm thinking of getting bangs. It's like, ugh, what are you, an escort? I don't know.
This was taken in my dungeon, actually.
Yes, but your dungeon at the base of Mount Shasta.
In my little kitty cat dungeon. My cat's name is Davinia. I just decided.
What's that song by the Smiths? I think, is it by the Smiths? There's a song that's like, I've had my Davinia, and if I baby had ever. If anyone recognizes that tune and that song, it's a real song. It's like, I've got my Davinia. It's okay. It's literally that. Okay. If anyone recognizes it, who's watching or listening, comment down below. What song is that? It's not by the Smiths, but it's something else.
I don't remember, but I am triggered by this photo. I am remembering that we had a real font disaster. I wanted to go for this escort, very 1970s Studio 54 design. It was almost leaning into a 1981 font. That was very stressful. But in the end, I think that people are going to love escort. What does it smell like, Jonathan?
It smells like, when a woman takes off her leather heel after a long night of wearing it
in the dungeon. Everything's dungeon related.
It smells like a stinky heel, but with nodes of lavender poopery to cover it up. So that's what it smells like.
So guys, I think it's definitely gonna sell out. I'd say. Coupon code SLUT, as always, 10% off.
Now we have Urbanique for the urbanites.
This was our collaboration. It was a Katy x Jonathan collaboration.
Oh, I've never seen this picture of me. Okay, first of all, I look like a Mexico City hipster, like who's like, I'm a DJ, you know, like, you know what I mean, like, and I live in Condesa, which is like a hipster part. I look like that's what I look like.
That was when we briefly lived on the calles for
okay
for an evening for the shoot.
Yeah, I look like I look like a Mexico City like hipster, or I look like a hipster from Rome who's into like, hey, you're all trash pop, you know?
You are liking it much. I like you have like the slightest smirk, and that's
Do
really
I?
the essence of Urbanique. I think you like because you're like kind of half smiling.
Let's also, here's the thing, my lips look good there. My lips look good there. And so do yours.
That's what matters. We have a strong shape. And we weren't even wearing liner.
No, our lips both look good there.
I like that it's a scent for the streets. I forgot about that tagline. We did focus group that one, definitely.
Yeah. What would you say this one smells like?
This one is like, I'd say, you know, when you like order a Coke and rum and then you immediately spill it on the ground.
Yes. And then it dries and it's sticky.
Yes. And then even though you didn't drink it or consume it, somehow you smell like it for the next 3 days.
Yes, yeah.
That is the scent of Urbanique, and it's very alluring, and it should also kill the virus. So
Urbanique kills the virus.
I liked that it was also designed by Jonathan Rowell for the Jonathan Rowell collection. That was your homage to the line Mark by Marc Jacobs for Marc Jacobs.
This actually was taken in a warehouse in the arts district that Katy snuck into, like a little sneaky snake, because we went to this music festival because I just freshly been broken up with. This was like
that was the night.
That was the night. This was 5 years ago, and
again, guys, this has been in production for so long. R&D.
Right. So this is 5 years ago. I'm 23 here, and yeah, we just basically like danced the night away. We went to different warehouses around this like music festival, and we danced to like hip hop, and then we'd go to a different warehouse, and it would be like house music, and then a different one would be like Urbanique pop. You know what I mean? Remember that? We would like.
Oh, it was great. And somebody thought you were Spanish or Rome or from Rome.
No. This was no. It was three. It was 3 people from Spain. It was like 2 girls and 1 dude, and they were all like hanging out at the music festival. They were tourists from Spain, and they came up to me and they were speaking in Spanish, and they were asking me if I was from Spain because they thought I looked Spanish. They said, and I said no, I'm not from Spain. And remember, as soon as they turned away, I turned back to you fully offended, and I was like, I'm not from fucking Spain. I'm fucking Mexican, you fucking bitch. Calling you that for some reason, even though you didn't do anything. But it's all because I was intoxicated with Urbanique.
Urbanique and post breakup, so there were a lot of emotions were running high.
Yeah.
Pheromones were higher.
Yes. Okay, then we have Scruff. Now, we actually are currently getting sued right now because yes, we released this fragrance, and we knew when we created it that this was the name of a popular gay sex app, but we just went for it anyways because we take risks.
Fortune favors the bold. I've always said that. This also is it's actually not a perfume, it's a linen spray for luxury towels. But look at that, it's such a gorgeous photo of you.
It is, and it truly
is.
It was the photo that I was using on my Scruff profile, actually.
It's taken in a bathroom, right? Oh yeah, there's towels behind you.
It's in my parents' back bathroom. It's in the small bathroom, and I'm sitting on the toilet here.
At this time, I remember I was in Europe with my financier friends, but I actually was alone, and I wouldn't take any full like selfie photos. All my photos were like half. It was like me peeking around the Colosseum, and then like me around like the Acropolis, and everyone was making fun of me for taking Phantom of the Opera half face photos, but I think it's a look. I mean, you're doing a 3/4 face, but
I am, but
great.
I remember once I was trying to hook up with a guy on Scruff during this time, and I sent him this photo because he was asking for like pics or whatever, and he was like, let me see a full face photo. And then when I sent him a full face photo of me, he blocked me. I know.
Full block? That's savage.
Full block, which is crazy because that was the only time I've ever been blocked because of how my face looked. But Sometimes I hear what I'm about to say and I know it's insane, but I have to say it. I just have to say it because it's so funny.
You've been blocked for other reasons? Legal reasons?
Yeah, but never my face. My face is usually the calling card. I don't know. Anyways, so this smells, the fragrance of this towel spray smells basically like the papers inside the manila envelope that your lawyer sends to you because you're getting sued by Scruff. Okay. Our favorite one is coming up. Goddess.
Yes.
Goddess. So this, honestly,
an offering.
Okay, and I know we're joking, but this is actually the picture that we took that's probably the most likely to be in like a perfume commercial. Like this looks like a still from a perfume commercial, actually.
This was taken in at Yield Satellite.
That was, me and Katy used to go to the Satellite every month, and we used to dance. We always had like a once a month dance thing with a bunch of other comedians. Remember?
Yeah, and this was, I believe, like the Y2K 90s nights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing a Lady Gaga shirt. I have the bangs. This was the night I think we were on the dance floor, and we thought it was so funny to run at each other as though we were about to do a front flip and not do it. And I don't think I've ever laughed harder at something so insane. And we kept doing it.
And nobody. And some girls like cleared that part of the floor, so because they thought we were gonna like do cool dance tricks, and we just didn't, and we just thought it was so funny. The fact that you have bangs made me realize that you were looking for a John that night, right?
Oh, I'd gotten off work and I was looking to get into work.
Right.
I do remember.
Hookers say, right? I'm looking to get into work, Daddy.
Hey, Daddy, you ready to get into work?
That's how much of a not hooker you are. You don't even know the lingo. You're like, I'm looking to get into work. Everyone's like, what are you talking about?
With a Jonathan. They're like,
with a Jonathan? They're like, with a what?
Unfortunately, the original of this is actually in a purple haze because there was purple lighting and purple smoke, and it is so beautiful. And I think you must have been the photographer for this.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember directing you, and I remember being like, look over there.
Slut.
Slut. That's what I said. No, I'm kidding. Look, in real life, we don't talk to people like this. We just talk to each other like this.
Not at all. So sorry, Grandma, and anybody else who has been offended by my podcast.
So this fragrance is called Twirl. This is gorgeous, by the way.
It is. It looks like an album cover. And I forgot this is also a companion piece to your day and evening gown line.
Yes. Now, this fragrance smells like the inside of an abuelita's purse, like an old aged leather smell.
I like that.
Yeah, and then it also smells like, when you take a girl to prom or a quinceañera or a winter formal or a bat mitzvah, and it's the party time and she's in her dress and it is strapless, but she's been dancing a lot, right? And so because it's skin on skin, she's really gotten BO. And you don't want to tell her because she looks so good, But
do we see your tissues hanging out of the dress on the side?
I don't know, because
tissues?
you just see a beautiful like swirly, so I don't know what you see.
A little swirly twirly.
But this is me in a dress. This dress cost $700.
It's couture.
Mm-hmm. And I wore it to my 23 añera, which was the day that I became a man, when I turned 23. And I do remember when we were it was a comedy show, and we were just kind of making fun of quinceañeras, and we were throwing like a 23 añera for me because the comedy show that me and Katy were hosting fell on my 23rd birthday. And we were just like decorating with like some dumb decorations. Some decorations were authentic to a quince, like having the roses and the hats for the court and everything. And then some were like not authentic, like having like weird piñatas and like loteria cards and stuff like that. And I remember one guy came up to me from the restaurant, because it was a Salvadoran restaurant that had the back room there. And he was like, oh, yeah, of course, this is all stuff that's real authentic to a quinceañera. And then I was like, girl, I'm Mexican American, so I reserve the right to make fun of this if I want to, because I've sat through many a quince, okay?
Yes. And I remember this night as the night that two girls who were drunk who stumbled into the show and were being disruptive, and we were had been telling people like, hey, be quiet. They're the ones who came up. They stormed out in the middle of the show, but they came up to us and they were like, your show's racist because of this, and they didn't understand. And they were drunk, but they left. So
were they white?
I think one was like maybe Latina, like I don't know, but they were drunk and they were being mouthy and they didn't shut up, and then they stormed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I remember she came over to me and I thought she was going to be like, hey, great show or something like that. And then she was like, it's racist. And then they left.
I mean, it's not racist. The thing about it is I get to criticize and make fun of my culture if I want to, because
we weren't even making fun. It was a celebration.
It was a celebration. I got to wear a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I got to wear a dress, which was the only point of having the 23 añera, because I wanted like a moment of like, this is my birthday, because I'm a boy and I never got to have like a big celebration where I was wearing a poofy dress. But did I go to my cousin Susana's quince where she got to wear this huge pink gown? Like it was a humongous Cinderella pink gown, like way bigger than this dress that you're seeing. And that's why we did it. And of course, those people who were like, their show's racist did not know that I was Mexican American. And it's like, it's not racist.
Which means that they're racist.
Right. Also, quinceañeras are sexist. So I don't know what the fuck you care about. The origin of quinces are to like bring these women out into society so that you could tell men that she's ready to be married off, because and these were like 15-year-old girls, you know?
Child bride. I love it.
You're basically just selling off your daughter, usually because you couldn't afford to have her there, you know? But she was a child, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like,
I get it.
Like, we can go deeper into criticizing quinceañeras, and I just don't think the criticism of quinceañeras is racist. I think it's fair criticism, because, I mean, I love being Mexican American, but let's face it, Mexican culture is highly sexist and it's very homophobic. So I don't care if I'm seen criticizing it. I feel like that's my right.
Yeah. Tweet at him, guys.
Just like when I say faggot, do not tell me that that's homophobic. It is not homophobic when I say it, because I'm not saying I am a faggot, okay? And I'm saying it to take things back. And also,
I love your snacking right now while you're...
Yes, and also, even with the gay community, I criticize the gay community, and I'm not being homophobic, but there's a lot of things wrong with the gay community. They're very racist.
Well, all I can say is that you do look so happy. It's such a great snapshot of a life.
Oh, our favorite. Oh God, Katy, we both have top buttons. I guess we're racist.
Appropriation. Call me on it.
I have a little guitar.
It's worse. I think it is. Oh, thank God.
Oh no, it's a ukulele.
That's the horrifying part. I'm sorry, guys. We should have edited that out. That's the most offensive part of this photo. No, it is. I actually do think it is a little guitar. It's a little like kind of the ones you would get like with a piñata or whatever, like the little party favor ones.
I really love this because I really feel like we were serving Orange County, like Cholo adjacent SoCal culture in this. We were giving like a little homage to it. This was in the photo booth.
It was like Gwen meets Sublime.
Yeah. And it was yeah, I honestly, like, even here, especially with the weight and the beard and those glasses and the top button, I feel like I look like some like SoCal OC Chicano stoner who has a band or something, and you're the lead singer of it.
And in your sunglasses, we see the reflection of a ring light, and that's why we look beautiful.
Yeah, we absolutely do. But the most beautiful part about this photo is your eye makeup. The eye makeup is gorgeous.
I had a liner and I was wearing a red lip that night. And I do love a top button, but it feels like appropriation now. I don't know what to do.
I feel like because you were with me, it's true. I think because you were with me, it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
What's funny is that look was kind of based off of Beyonce's Flawless video, but that video, her aesthetic was based off of London punks. So Who's being whom now? Think about that.
You were with me. This was my idea.
I was wearing that shirt a lot. I miss it. It shrunk.
Oh yeah, but you didn't always top button it.
No.
Which, all the way top button doesn't always mean cholo. But in this case, I think that's what we were going for. But sometimes top button is like Katharine Hepburn wearing pants in the 30s. You know what I mean? Like a blousey button up with a top button is very that.
Always in menswear.
Yeah.
Menswear, darling.
This was our failed fragrance.
That's actually my corpse. That's after a John went wrong.
Oh God, no, Katie, no. Okay, wait. John went wrong. No, so this is after, actually right before you had passed, using up your 4th life, and now we have to resurrect you for your 5th life. This, believe it or not, is a photo of Katy on her 30th birthday.
Shocking. I had to die. Actually, I had to die that night by Hollywood rules, but I did go to the bank to get $100 out.
You did.
And I kind of
so cheap because your net worth is $767, which is crazy.
And I did. It was Beyonce themed party. I had fans, which is also why I think we were throwing money. By we, I mean I was throwing money, and it was kind of going around. And I don't know if I was drunk or staged at this point. It looks like I'm not wearing pants, but I am.
Okay.
Do you remember any of your like, did your sisters ever have like Exclamation or like Malibu like body sprays, or Victoria's Secret body sprays?
Victoria's Secret. I don't remember. I don't know what Exclamation or Malibu is, but definitely Victoria's Secret body sprays. I mean, those delicious body sprays from the 90s and the early 2000s that they used to sell at Victoria's Secret and it was like they had a green one, a pink one, and a purple one, and I'm sure they had other ones too.
It was pear, like an apple.
And just they would smell like that. It's so good.
I remember I bought a knockoff one at the drugs, like CVS, but instead of like the delicate sprays, it came in a full, like it looked like a Windex bottle, like it had that kind of like a Febreze, and I had this giant, it was basically like a tub of like peach spray, and I just remember literally like it had so much spray you couldn't like, you had to like spray it all away from you and then run through it, because otherwise you'd like actually be drenched from it.
Well,
but I loved it.
I used to buy my sisters those Victoria's Secret bottles for Christmas because they were an easy gift when I was like 10 or 11. Because,
and they made minis. Oh,
they did. And you could go to Victoria's Secret, and Victoria's Secret bags back then, and like a fragrance with tissue paper, it's like looks like a great gift, and it wasn't that expensive, you know?
Yeah, status symbol.
Yeah. And they of course loved it because they had been buying it since before I was even like able to buy things, you know? So yeah, but of course what I would always do is, before putting it in the bag with the tissue paper and putting it under the tree, I would of course be like, oh, I just got to test it out that the spray bottle works. And I would like spray each one of them because I'd have different flavors for each. And then I would like twirl through the entire mist, and I would just like smell like a little chola, like they were.
A little orchard. It was pear body spray to me is just like, oh, iconic.
I don't remember the pear.
I have one still.
Was it the green one? Was it the green bottle? Okay, so then that I do remember, but I don't think I realized it was pear.
Did you like ever growing up? Did you ever like sneak perfumes? Like, did your mom have perfume bottles?
Oh, so much so that at a certain point when I was like 12 or 13, my sisters for my birthday would get me fancy colognes that basically could double as a perfume, and I knew that it could double as a perfume because they would like it so much. I remember my sister Lillian being like, this is good, right? Like after I opened it, and she would just spray it all over herself, and she'd be like, it's good, huh? And so I used to like go to school with like fucking cologne on and stuff like that, and I thought I was it.
I had a teacher in junior high who wore Issey Miyake, and it was such a distinct scent. And I remember like asking him, oh, so embarrassing. I remember being like, do you, me, like 12, do you like wear cologne? And then him telling me it's like Issey Miyake, which like I was like, and what does that word mean? Like I didn't know it was like a designer.
Right.
But to this day, if I smell that, I think of him, and he who shall not be named. But
Oh, it was Baltimore. That's who you're
It was
talking
Voldemort.
to.
Actually, it was the year 1300. It was rat blood.
It
No,
was
but
when he still had his nose.
yeah, I I was trying to think. No, my mom had like perfumes. She never wore perfumes, but she even had the kind that were like the straight like magic witch essences, like not body oil, but do you know what I mean? Like the ones that are like by drop, like
Yes.
so.
Yes.
But they all are like, to me, it's just a mass smell of like old lady Avon products.
Yeah.
Like, and somehow
and
they all smell like they're like floral baby powder, basically.
Yeah.
Like that's the scent to me, which I never liked, but but the bottles were fun.
Now, see, my mom never wore perfume ever. My mom did not like perfume. She doesn't like perfume. She's so sensitive, like her sinuses. She always complaining about her sinuses. And so she just doesn't like it. When anyone walks by with perfume, if it's too thick, she literally goes like this and she just starts swatting away and like mean mugging the person. You know, she fucking hates it. She hates it.
To me, I have such fond memories of like, especially like when you are a teenager, like you're very dramatic about like pulling out your cologne or your like body spray or whatever. I feel like that was like high school boyfriends, like that's like, you're like for Christmas, you like save up because they're very expensive, of course. And then you're just like, babe, I got you CK2, you know, or whatever it was. I'm trying to think of like what the
CK2, yeah.
Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren. Didn't John Varvatos make sense?
Probably, I'm sure.
I think he did.
My favorite. I'm such a like teeny bop girl that all my favorite perfumes are like Michael Escada had one called like Island Girl or whatever.
Yes.
They all smell like a pina colada fruity lip gloss, like whatever like a 9-year-old's lip gloss would smell like. That's what it smelled like. But to me, it's still to this day just takes me back to the islands of Sephora.
I would honestly, I think creating a fragrance sounds fun.
I think
really
it's very like, I don't have the nose for it. There's too much. There's like floral, there's sandalwood, there's whatever. I also like how there was like, this is masculine, and you're like, this is like Old Spice, you know?
Now, moving away from fragrances, what are some smells that you like that bring you back to a certain time, whether it's in your childhood or your teenage years, or maybe like a relationship in your past or your 20s? Like, what are there smells that are nostalgic for you?
That is such a good question.
It's a fun question, right?
Yeah. One is like the library, but like the mustiness of a library book, like a library. Ooh, not like in your mom's, but like a library.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And the like like you know, sometimes they would cover it in like a hard plastic to like and you just like, oh, crack it open. I love that scent. It's so good. I've heard people try to like that there's like scented candles that try to recreate it, but I don't think they ever really do. No. That the smell of like a peach passion Jamba Juice takes me back to when I worked as a waitress, and on my breaks I would go get Jamba Juice. I feel like there was some food product or something, or like I would go through phases. Oh, I lived in this horrible apartment. It was like my sink was there was only one sink, and it was your bathroom and your kitchen sink, and it had a kitchenette, like hot plate. It was so gross. And at that time I was eating this like I would only get food from Trader Joe's because I even had a mini fridge. I didn't even have a real fridge. So I was only getting stuff you could microwave, and I would get salads, and there was this like champagne goddess dressing or something.
Yes.
That it's like, I can't eat it now because it makes me feel like I'm in my gross apartment.
Mm-hmm. So that's a bad scent for you.
That's a bad scent. Yeah, that's a bad scent. What about you?
Well, my favorite scent is open flame roasting chiles, because it just it's one of the warmest scents, and I grew up with it. Like my dad roasting chiles over the open flame on the stove to prepare for a salsa or one of my mom's tamales, or for chile rellenos. And it is a smell that is so distinct that it just takes me back to like being 3 years old. And every year when they roast chiles for Christmas, or whenever they are making like salsa or chile rellenos, it immediately takes me back to being a kid. I also love the smell of a bag of rotting fermented guavas, because I grew up with a guava tree in my backyard, and my mom would pick them all. And guavas are very pungent, right? But when you pick 50 guavas and you put them in a Trader Joe's paper bag, and you just leave them in the California heat in the dining room, which is what my mom would do, the entire house smelled pungent and like rotting fruit, but in a beautiful, sweet, yummy way, if that makes sense. And it just stunk, but in a good way. And I love that smell. And now you can smell it if you walk by a guava tree ever. It's like a pungent, fruity stink. And it's so, I love that smell. It just brings me back to like being a kid and running around with no shoes on.
I love those like kitchen ones. I feel that way about like simmering, like any like soup simmering, like a broth, like a chicken broth or something simmering on the stove. Is so comforting and so like, yeah, it just makes you feel like home. No,
food ones are like that chicken broth one. That sounds like it would be a good smell, because food smells are like the most comforting ones, I think, for most people. Like, I also love the smell of a cup of champurrado, because it smells like atole but sweeter, because it has like chocolate and other things in it. And also the smell of Mexican hot chocolate, the Ibarra brand, because I grew up with Ibarra, not Abuela. And that smell of that like spicy, dusty chocolate with the fat of the milk, I love that smell. And every time I make it, it just like brings me back. But, you know, moving away from like my home cooked smells, do you remember Black Forest gummy bears? That they used
I never had them.
You never had them? But they sold them like, you know, they sold them at supermarkets, 7-Eleven, gas stations, right where the gum is, right where you're like being checked out. I used to love those as a kid. And if you open one up, the smell of these gummy bears, it's only this brand that smells this way. I don't know what it is, like the chemical that they used to make the gummy bears or to package it. It's this like super fruity, bright smell. It smells like a rainbow. It just smells like what a rainbow would smell like. And that smell takes me back. Also, the smell of, you know, chiclet gum with like the packets, that super sugary smell. And it's also the smell that you get when you actually chew the gum and you can smell it.
Yes.
It's so good.
Chiclet is such a like ice cream man childhood like product, you know.
Also, wait, do you remember those you know, extra gum?
Yeah.
The bubble gum, the pink gum version of it, that smell. That is like my mom coming home from work, and she had always had a packet of pink bubble gum from Extra, and she was always chewing bubble gum because she was always like stressed from work. And she would come home and she'd be like working on her degree, because she went to a university while she was like raising me and working a job. And so she'd be like working on her papers, and I used to like cuddle up next to her and like just eat all her gum, just like chew all her gum, and she used to get so mad.
I love that. I was thinking of another one is like, this is so weird and specific, but it makes me feel like I'm on the playground, like at recess, and it's the smell of like blacktop when it's just started to rain, or like cement. Do you know? I
know exactly that smell, Katie. And that also, I would say I agree, that is one of my favorite smells.
It's just so like, it's not a like good smell, it's just a very specific smell.
It's intoxicating almost.
Yeah. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm at like recess, the rain's coming, gotta run in, even though that happened like once a year.
Doesn't it? And it doesn't, like, did you ever have to eat lunch inside the classroom because it's raining?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like so scandalous. It was like, guys, shut the doors. Turn on the candles.
Oh, it was so fun. And remember those rare weeks where we would get like 7 straight days of hard rain, right?
Oh, which is like once every 5 years. Yeah.
Yes, but it was so fun when if you were a kid at school at the time, because it just made the whole week different. Like, everything had to be done inside. Like, PE was canceled, or you got to go into the gym. Certain classes you got to watch a movie for. Like, it was just like the rain days were like fun.
They're so I guess we're lucky, or not. We're lucky because we just didn't get rain that much, whereas other people like had snow days and stuff, which I don't.
Right.
Hashtag can't relate.
Oh, Katie, so I know that I'm more bougie than you.
Okay.
And here's why: because you listed the smell of an old library book as one of your favorite smells. Now, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly how that smells. It smells great. But what I like even better is the smell of when you walk into a Barnes & Noble from the 2000s and 90s, because those Barnes & Noble smell different than these new ones that are like high tech or something. Or any other bookstore like that, like a Vroman's or even a Borders. The smell of the coffee shop, the coffee, mixed with the new books that had just been shipped in with the fresh paper smell. The fresh paper with coffee is a dynamite smell. It is one of the best smells in the world. And actually, I went into, in the gay district of Mexico City, there was a bookstore, not a used bookstore, an actual bookstore that had a bar upstairs, but a coffee shop downstairs. And when I walked in, it smelled like the 90s and the 2000s Barnes and Noble there in Mexico City. And so I just like wanted to like stay in that bookstore. And I remember me and Nike like walked around and I was just like smelling it because I was like, this smells like something I smelled before, you know?
I love, and I'll say my last scent is, and I don't drink coffee, but I love the scent. It like instantly comforts me. Sometimes I've literally thought about like, you know how there's like instant coffee makers you can like schedule to like go off in the morning. I've literally thought about like, would it be wasteful if I just scheduled one just for the ambiance?
Wait, but does Chris drink coffee?
He does. Yeah.
So then no, he'll drink it.
Yeah. But I just was like, oh, I love, it just makes me feel like, And also like, I just love the idea of like having a cup of coffee and just like, even though I drink tea, but.
Now, I agree with you. My dad used to go to this diner every single day, and he went there like every day since the 70s. And whenever I would go with him, and he would go early in the fucking morning, like 5 a.m. And whenever I would go with him, I'd be like so tired. And then he'd have his diner coffee. And at that point, I didn't like coffee. And I would just smell his coffee and stick my nose in his coffee. And he would be like, Jonathan, get your nose out of my coffee. And I just loved the smell of the coffee. And then that transferred over to, remember the supermarkets? I think they still have this, where you could actually get whole beans, and it was like
a grinder. Yes.
The wall of grinder. And that's where you could get some good coffee. Like markets like Gelson's, I think, still has that.
Yeah.
Just the smell of that area of the whole beans is such a good smell. And now when I open up, this is why I have to have a grinder in our kitchen.
And on your phone.
Yes. And I have to have a grinder in the kitchen, and we have to buy things whole beans, because it's whole beans that taste better when you make the coffee. But also, when I live for the moment that you open up the bag of the whole beans and that beautiful coffee aroma comes. I love it. And you just don't get it when you buy ground coffee. It just doesn't smell or taste the same.
Good to know. Hot tip for bougie living. I like it.
What other smells do you like?
I'm trying to think. I love the smell of marzipan because it's almond. Anything almonds is like delectable to me.
I don't like it. It reminds me, because marzipan, I didn't really know what it smelled like until I worked in a French bakery and a Danish bakery. So it reminds me of being at work in the early morning and there's like a line of people outside. It just brings me back to a bad time.
It's just triggering. We're at 48 minutes.
Well, I'm not done talking about my smells. I'm still talking about my smells. What other smells do I like?
Yeah. I like the word, I will say, I hate the word smell. I like the word scent.
Okay. You know
I just want to say that.
You know what scent I like?
What?
When anyone, but especially a boy, when anyone has freshly showered and they come and sit next to me and they smell like their body wash or their shampoo.
Yeah.
I love it. So when Nike showers, he loves to shower in the night, and he comes and sits next to me. I'm like all over him because I love like the smell of like a freshly showered boy.
It is nice. My sister and my boyfriend told me I smell like sweet milk.
You do. But it's only like when you hug yourself do you smell like a dairy sweet, very light flavor. Like to me,
that's so funny. I'm dairy. I just eaten cheese.
you almost smell
it doesn't sound complimentary. It sounds.
It is. No,
weird.
it is.
But I know what you mean. Like goddess milk or whatever.
No, here's how you smell. You know, have you ever ordered from Postmates a pint of the sweet cream ice cream from Jenny's?
No, but you have.
Yes, and you open it up, and that beautiful sweet cream, light, very mellow smell. That's how you smell. It's a light, slightly subtly sweet smell, but you don't smell like rotting milk or anything. No, it's a It's a beautiful, like light, slightly sweet, very subtle smell.
That's
AKA,
so nice. That's so flattering. I
it
don't know.
is.
You can't smell yourself, which is the problem, you know?
No. Yeah.
Also how like different people's houses smell, that's weird. Like I remember like it's almost like a pheromones thing where you're like, this place is evil or not, you know? Like I still remember the horrible smell of someone's house I went to once as a child, and I didn't even know them that well, but it's so in my memory that I was like, oh, this is awful.
What did it smell like?
It was like this weird like plastic
Ooh,
and
no, no,
like
no.
plasticky scent. It was weird, but also like a gym mat. I
Ugh.
don't know. It was really weird. And I just remember that I was like, guys, you're nasty. And I was probably like 6 years old, but
Oh God, that's awful. I had a rich friend whose house smelled, and it didn't smell necessarily bad, but it didn't smell good. They were very rich, um, and they lived their house was an old hotel from the early 1910s, like from before the Titanic was
were
made.
they ghosts?
They could have been. They were white enough to be. They were a level of white that was like, and maybe this is racist, but I don't care. They were a level of white that's like, if they were standing next to you, Katy, I would be like, they are whiter than Katy. You know what I mean? Meaning like, there's just a level up, like where
Yeah.
it's like, Katy is white, but she's not inbred. They're inbred. You know what I mean? So,
Translucent, yeah.
yes. And so their house was 4 stories, and they had kept a lot of the old hotel features of it. So inside was all dark wood, like an old haunted, because this was made in the early 1900s in North Altadena. So it still had the style of the 1800s, because that's like the Masons who made it. Of course, that's where they're drawing from, right? So every time I slept over there, it was a full haunted house situation, like classic haunted house
It
situation.
sounds terrifying, actually.
Yeah, like late Victorian era house. That's literally what the inside was. 4 stories, so many different rooms, and because it used to be a hotel, there was like rooms that were hidden, that were obviously like cleaning staff rooms and stuff like that,
Oh.
right? So there were like rooms that were covered, doors that were covered with wallpaper, and you had to push on it to open it up. Otherwise, you would never see that there, because the wallpaper covered the hinges.
I love it.
All you could see was a slight seam on the wallpaper, but of course they chose very busy wallpaper, so the seam wasn't as like visible. And it was a really fun house to like be a kid in. And they of course had everything, like from like a movie room to watch movies to like a million guest rooms. They had like maids quarters in the back. They had goats, they had ferrets, they had dogs, they had cats, they had piglets. They had everything. So because of those animals, and they did have cleaning people, but because of those animals, like you can never get rid of that animal smell from the property if you have that many animals, especially because they have 3 goats, right?
That's wild.
Wild. So, and they let the goats in the house and everything. So sometimes you come downstairs to get like a drink of water, and there'd just be this like big billy goat, like with fucking hordes, like it was actually
Devil,
kind of
like literally Satan.
the devil. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was Black Phillip.
Well, he got so violent they had to cut his horns off, or shave them down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they didn't. And the thing is they didn't want to neuter him, so he just had these huge goat balls. I mean, 'cause a male goat is big. These are big suckers, and he had these big balls, literally half the size of my face. Like if the balls could just like cover this part of my face. Yeah, and then of course the female goats were the cutest, most beautiful things. If you ran across a female goat, it's like pretty angel. You know what I mean? And they would just come up to you and like lick your leg, and that's all they would do. They were so cute. But the male goats are demonic. I understand why they're devils.
I just imagine the idea of like creaking down a staircase, which is already terrifying, like in the middle of the night wanting a snack or something, and then you turn around and then there's just like a goat, like with its demon horns.
It was very dangerous because they can gore you with their horns. And I remember my friend, who was my age at the time, would grab onto the goat horns and like wrestle the goat into his pen. And I was like, he could just get gored to death, you know? They were crazy, but they also had ferrets that's illegal in California, and I understood why, because they had ferrets running around, and whenever I would like get off the guest bed and like put my foot down on the ground, I would just hear like ah! And it would just be like a ferret trying to eat my foot. And they had ferrets because their son was deathly afraid of snakes. But there like wasn't that many snakes up there.
Why would there be that many snakes?
Well, they did live, their mansion was up in the high foothills of Pasadena, so they were at the base of the canyon. So that's why maybe they were afraid of snakes. But they weren't like so close to the like their house was next to a country club. So it's like they weren't that close to the canyon, you know?
Devil house.
Yeah, it was a devil house. But of course I did love the dog because they had wiener dogs everywhere. And then they had cats, of course, which stunk. Because they stink. And then they also had piglets, which I love because you would just like see a little piglet just like running on the grass. Like it is actually very romantic to think about having little animals. I just wouldn't have the goats or the ferrets.
I would do goats because they are my familiar. I do like, and they're sweet. When they're sweet, they're sweet. But maybe don't get a billy goat.
Yeah, don't get a male goat. You just get a female goat because all male goats. It's not all male goats are gonna be, unless you neuter them, they're going to be crazy. Male goats are basically eternal junior high boys for their entire life.
Yeah. There's in my aunt's house where I'm going, I'm flying my broom there. There it's like in the forest redwoods, and there's like, you know, like not cliffs, but like, yeah, I guess like it's like mountains. And there was a billy goat that just like got out one day, and then he just like lives there. And so he's like a wild goat. And you just in some like I have seen him twice in my life, and one time he was just like up on the rocks just like staring, and then but yeah, he's like a little magical thing, but then the fires happen and no one's seen him since.
Oh no.
I know.
Wait,
he was old. I think he was old.
How big were his horns?
He was like you know, it's funny, they were kind of like thick, like Maleficent kind of.
Oh right.
Like they weren't like, I mean, they weren't like crazy like deer antlers, but
no,
I just remember it. But he would just like, yeah, he was a magical creature, but R.I.P. I think.
Aren't antlers and horns crazy? Like imagine if
know.
all the males you knew just had huge fucking tusks coming out of their face.
It's so weird that it comes out of their skin like us.
Oh, I thought it came out of their skull.
I guess no, well you're right, but it like, I don't know, it's gross. It creeps me out so much.
I honestly think
them, like,
horns
little nubs.
Horns would make, well, if human males had horns, it'd actually make this world even worse. Like, imagine the domestic violence. Not good.
It's like, he gored me again. And they're like, girl, you gotta leave him.
No, if someone gores you, you're like talking with your like new metallic jaw that you got with plastic surgery down to your face. Have you seen those like bull fighters who have been like gored in the mouth and they live?
My God.
But they honestly deserve it, okay? Because they're like torturing bulls. The Spanish
it's true.
love to just torture people. They love to like torture indigenous people, Africans, and then they love to go back home and torture their bulls.
For sport. I do remember, I will say this is my closing thought on all these things. One great thing to do to kids that we did in my family is like when they're bad, you just go, hey, come here really quick. And then you go and you feel their skull. And then you're like, oh, your horns are starting to grow in. And then they're always like, you know, it's like a classic troll. So I recommend all parents make their kids think the horns are growing in when they're bad.
If that was me, I would have been fully in the bathroom at 7 being like neosporining, being like, you will not conquer me, Satan. Like that. All right, guys. Comment
Buy the
below.
fragrance.
Buy the fragrance and comment below some of your favorite scents. What do you like to smell?
And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.